All right, good morning, everybody, and welcome to Blackwing Trading. It has been a few weeks. I have been out on vacation, celebrating my anniversary, and just doing some things. And now I'm back to going live and streaming. I'm excited to be back, getting back into the trading grind. And so, want to start off as I normally start off. If this is your first time to the channel, my name is Clinton, and I am a futures trader. I primarily trade the ES futures and the micro futures, sometimes the NASDAQ, but mostly the S&P 500 futures. And that is my lane. I am a funded trader with Top Step, and then I also do trade on my personal account. So that is what I do, and that is what this channel is about. So on this channel, you will see pre-market analysis and you will see live trades. All in the purpose of trying to make some money. And then also, I created this channel to get people involved into trading. So to let you know that this is something that is very attainable. It's not easy, but it's something that's attainable, that you can develop the skill. You can create an income for yourself. You know, if you got a full-time job, you can do this. You can trade with your full-time job, do this part-time, bring in some extra income. You know, hopefully it gets to a point to where you begin to replace your salary. Is very possible with trading. But like I said, trading is not easy. It's a journey. And I tell people that when they're interested in trading, you should look at it as a journey of trading, not a get rich quick scheme or something you're going to pick up right away. It's something that you need to, look at as a lifetime of trading. But as long as you got a computer, you got an internet connection, you can trade. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get into the pre-market analysis. All right, so what I have up here now is the 4-hour chart for the S&P 500 futures. So we just kind of get a picture of the landscape of what's been happening over the past couple of weeks. You can see that we've actually hit some new highs. We got as high as 6,600 on the S&P 500 futures. And so that's designated by this red line that I have up here. And then we had some highs at the 6520s. But we broke through those highs, traded under it, it traded back down and then basically climbed back up and then traded up through it again over the past couple of days. We can see Thursday yesterday was a high trading day. And then the day before that, it kind of pulled back a little bit, but overnight it traded up through it. And it's because there was a catalyst. And so the catalyst, particularly for yesterday, was the CPI and which is the inflation report, and the jobless claims. And so consumer price index, that's a measure that the Fed uses to see what inflation is doing. So inflation went up, to about 2.9%. So it's steadily been climbing over the past couple of months because of the effects of tariffs and some other things. So that went up. And then the initial jobless claims actually was 263,000. So which is a pretty high number. Now, I did read some things that that part of it was because of the Texas floods that happened, unfortunately over about a month ago, that caused a lot of jobs to be the jobless claims to go up. But even still high at 263,000 for the jobless claims. And so you might be wondering, okay, more people are filing for unemployment. The unemployment rate is like about 4.4%. The inflation is almost approaching 3%. Why is the market going up? Well, here's why. The market is going up because those are the parameters for which the Fed has to begin to cut rates. The Fed has what we call a dual mandate. They have to pay attention to the labor market, which is jobless claims, unemployment, and then they pay attention to inflation. That's their dual mandate. And so since inflation is going up and the jobless claims are going up in the unemployment market, that means that, it's probably like a 99% chance they're going to cut. And so the market likes that because now that means that the Fed is going to cut interest rates. And when the Fed cuts interest rates, that, reduces the cost of borrowing money, reduces the cost of holding money. All that is good for the market. And so that's why the market is trading up. We traded up yesterday because it saw just another thing, another indicator that says, okay, now we need to cut for sure because jobless claims are going up and inflation is going up. And so that's why the market traded up yesterday. So, but we can see, like I said, the high is 6,600. up here at the top with by this red line. And we've been pulling back a little bit overnight, pulled back to about 65, 70, 75. And it's trading up to like the 65 90s right now. And so another thing about this, we're kind of in what I call price discovery. So the previous high was to 65 20s, and it broke through that. And if you've ever been on my channel before, you know, I told you about price discovery. Once the market breaks through an all-time high is in what we call price discovery. It's trading, it's trying to find out those levels that it can trade at. And so I'm always kind of apprehensive when that's happening, because you don't know how high it's going to trade. You don't know when it's going to pull back and all those things. So right now, you know, I've identified like two areas, the 65.50, 65.60 area that it could trade back down to. And then on the high side, if it breaks through 6,600, you're just kind of looking to see where it's going to go, you know. But and this is just in you know, my experience of trading. If it breaks through 6,600 and goes to the high side, I'll be very cautious on going long, just because you don't know how high it's going to go. Could go 6605 and pull back hard. Could go to 6610 and pull back hard. Could go to 6650. You know, you never know what it's going to do. It's price discovery. And so I'm usually not chasing that beyond those all-time highs. What I would do is, if it goes high like that, I would wait actually till it hits its high and then pulls back to a known area, and then go long there, because then you know how much upside that you have for the trading. And so that's me, and that's my strategy. But right now, you know, the levels that I'm looking at 6,600 to the upside. I'm looking at it, if it goes to the downside, somewhere probably around about 65.60, 65.50, somewhere around here, where it was at yesterday before the open, before I got the news, and we'll see if it trades anywhere near that on today. I'm just gonna take it in a little bit closer. So this is a 5-minute chart, just, you know, another visual representation of trading. So you can see it hit 65.60 yesterday. That's where this is at right here. Day 4 yesterday, and it pulled back into the previous high, which is a 65.20. So that proves a point that I was just making. It broke through, the all-time high, and it traded up, made a new high at 65.60, and then it pulled back down to 65.20s, which was the previous high. And so the market tends to do that. And so then it began to trade up, and you can see it traded up and through it on yesterday all the way up to 6,600. And so, you know, today I'm looking to see if it goes to 6,600 and pulls back, and then goes back to a known area. Maybe it goes back to 65.60, and then trades up, you know, and then you have more up room to go to, long, or maybe you want to go short. So once it hits that high at 6,600 or whatever high it hits, you may go short and go down to the downside. That's up to you. In any case, on this channel, I do the 15-minute open range break. So that's how I trade. Morning, Abby. How you doing? Good to see you on here this morning. All right, so that's the levels that we're looking at right now. And we'll just leave it as is here. All right, a couple other things I want to do before we open. We got about 5 minutes before we open, is look at what the rest of the market is doing. Look at the top 10 of the S&P 500. And so the S&P 500 is a weighted index. That means that if the companies on there that have more input are the companies, the bigger companies, those mega cap companies, the big companies that we all know and love, like Apple, Tesla, and all that. And so I look at since I trade the S&P 500 futures, I pay attention to the top 10, because in the aggregate, the top 10 companies in the S&P 500 futures are like 37% of the entire index. And so it's like a third of the index. And so if those companies are doing well, the market is coming up, being pulled up. If those companies are not doing well, the market is being pulled down. And so I pay attention to that just because I trade the index. So let's kind of start at the top. Apple, everybody's favorite phone, everybody knows and love. So Apple is pulling back a little bit. So they did have a few days ago, they did have that, introduction of their new phone and things like that. But they're also experiencing some issues with China, and so they actually, I think the phone, I was looking at the news this morning, that Apple Air phone, the new very thin phone that they're coming out with, is up for pre-order here in the United States, but they're not allowing them to pre-order in China. And so China is a huge market for Apple. All those, millions and millions of units sold in China on those phones. And so they're not able to do pre-orders in China for that phone. There's some, issues between us and China, and the ongoing trade war and all those good things. So Apple is definitely going to be concerned about that. And the stock is actually starting to dip a little bit because of that, because the company's investors are thinking, okay, we can't get to market in China. That's going to severely affect those phone sales. Berkshire Hathaway, this is Warren Buffett's company. This is a mishmash, a multitude of companies all in one. And so he also, there's not a lot of volatility in Warren Buffett's company. He also pretty much trades solidly around about the 450 to 500 range. And so he's at 595 right now, kind of trading sideways yesterday. Broadcom is a semiconductor chip company. They do chips in all types of devices, microwaves, phones, some tablets, all types of devices. And so they're a chip maker. And they were at highs of 374. They had a good day 2 days ago, and then now they started to pull back a little bit. So we're going to see if they make a higher claim on today. Tesla. Either you love it or you hate Tesla, you love it or you hate Elon Musk. And so Tesla had a big run on yesterday in response to the news possibility of having rate cuts. So Tesla is leveraged, and so that helps them. If there's a possibility of rate cuts, that does definitely help them in their company operations. And so you can see yesterday they went from like 349 all the way up to 373, and this is overnight. And now they're still trading at the 370s area, so they're doing well. NVIDIA has been trading sideways, for a little bit. They regained like that 180 and then they pulled back a little bit. So they're trading at 177 right now. And they're trying to go sideways. They're still also dealing with chip sales to China. If you've been looking in the news, they are supposed to sell the H100 or the H200 chip to China and give 15% of the money back to the United States. Well, China was like, well, we don't want that chip because we think there's going to be some security issues. So it's, the fallout of the ongoing trade war and everything between us and China. So NVIDIA is kind of walking that tightrope of trying to be diplomatic and get the market open to China and also still, sell here in the United States. And so that is where they're sitting at. But they, like I said, they did gain some room and get back up to the 180. So they're trading like 177 now. The bell you heard was the opening bell. And then also the Googles trading at the 240s. They're pulling back a little bit this morning now. So I haven't read too much about them, so I really can't speak. But this is where they're sitting at. And then got Meta, who's pulled back. And they're actually pulling back pretty hard. They actually got up to the 760s, and now they're pulling back. And then last one I'm going to look at is Amazon. Everybody's favorite shipping company is pulling back a little bit as well. So it's interesting to see what's going to happen over the next couple of days. But we hit some all-time highs, and so now people are going to take some profits. And then what I do expect to happen today, though, and next week is that people are unsure about what the Fed is going to do. So they're going to probably sell just to take that money off the table. And then once they see how much the Fed cuts, either 25 basis point or 50 basis point, I can see them putting their money back into the market. So that's kind of a trend that I've noticed in the market. So let's get back to the S&P 500 futures since the morning bell did ring. All right, and so we're just opening now. So I trade a 15-minute opening range break. So what I do is draw a caution area, 15 minutes of price action, and then I'm looking to take a trade definitively up if it breaks above that price area, or definitively down if it breaks below that price area. And just for full disclosure, so I ended up getting back later and not getting started with my 15-minute, I mean, with my small account challenge. I had to fund this account. It's taking days for the money to actually fund into the account. And so I'm probably going to start this next week. But I am trading on Ninja Trader. So, I made a decision, even though I'm a funded trader with Top Step, I'm like, hey, well, what if I put a small amount of money in a brokerage account and see how much I can turn it to in a month? And so that's the challenge that I'm going to do now. So you can see here, I am trading what we call a simulation. That's one of the plus of Ninja Trader. If you're new to trading and you want to learn how to trade, you can trade on their simulated account, right? You don't have to put any money in, and you can learn all the things you need to learn. So I am trading on a simulated account. And what I did is, took it to $500 of cash value, because I'm going to practice the way that I'm going to trade when I actually do this small account challenge. And so I'm trading like that. The great thing about Ninja Trader is they have, $50 margins for intraday trading on micros. And then on the minis, they have $500 intraday margin. So that's like some of the lowest in the industry. So that allows you to take a small amount of money. And if you know what you're doing, you can begin to make money with a small amount of money. You have to have the skill to trade, though, because trading futures is leverage. And so even though they're only allowing you a small amount of margin to trade it, it still moves normally. And so, you can lose a lot of money real quick if you put too much into it. So, I'm going to be conservative and trade it, small contracts and work my way up. And I set a couple of goals. I'm making like $100 a day the first week, $200 the next week, $300 the next week, $400 the next week. And let's do it over a month and see what I can do, so you can get a picture of what trading is like. So this is my Ninja Trader setup. And this is what I'm going to take my executions on. Let me go back to the Thinkorswim. Thinkorswim is what I do my charting on and what I do my graphics on, all my lines of, where my levels at. And so I'm looking at that as well when I'm trading. Let's make this a little bit bigger for you. We got some buying mine in the open, but it's kind of slow. So we'll just allow 15 minutes of price action. So the market open, this first 5-minute candle is about to be done. And there's a second candle. It's going to trade up. I wouldn't be surprised if it hits 6,600 and then pulls back. If you got any questions and you're on the live, please let me know. And do me a favor, make sure you hit that like button. It helps the algorithm, helps, the channel helps the channel definitely get more coverage. And so if you haven't hit like, go ahead and hit that like button for me, and share this if you can as well. It's trading down a little bit. What I'm going to do now is start to draw my cautionary. And so I like to have a visual representation of that 15-minute caution area. It just helps me with trading. So what I do is start from the beginning. We're charting a high and a low. So that's the high. And this is how low it got so far. Look like that man actually even break that. Yeah, I did break that. So I'm going to adjust these properties. But it got down to about, 86, 65, 86, 75. And I draw this area as my caution areas that I really don't want to take trades. And I wanted to break through that area, and then that's when I take the trade. This is my one strategy. And I tell people new to trading, you don't need 15 strategies. You really just need one that you can execute really well, right? And so I learned this the hard way. I would change up my strategy so much that, and really it's like, okay, if you trade a strategy and you lose, then I'll be like, oh, okay, this don't work. I need to try something else. And you'll just continue to go through and not really get good at trading. And it's based off one thought really. And that thought is, if I lose, I'm doing something wrong. And it's counterintuitive, but everybody loses in trading, right? There's nobody who wins 100% trading. If they tell you that, they're lying to you, right? So you want to look at the percentage of your win rate and then risk management. And so you may trade a strategy and you may only win 60% of the time, and you can be massively successful as a trader, even 50% of the time. You may have a 55% win rate or 60% win rate, and you can be massively successful as a trader, because it's not just about winning every trade. It's about, the right risk to reward and minimizing your losses. And so I had to get to the point where I understand it's okay to lose, because everybody's going to lose. But am I minimizing my losses? And am I 2 times, 3 times, 4 times my win? And that's what really makes the difference. And so, pick one strategy, that you're comfortable with, and then try to perfect that, and you'll be a lot more successful. All right, so this is dipping down now hard. It's at 65.85. So that's kind of gives me the idea that it's going to trade down, because it took a hard turn down. And this candle is going to be up in about 45 seconds or so. And then we'll see that third candle. These are 5-minute candles. So each one of these candles here, this is what we call a candle. Each one of these is 5 minutes, because I have it on a 5-minute chart. You can change the time frame on your trading platform. I could trade it to 15 minutes if I want. If I trade to 15 minutes, then one candle essentially would be 15 minutes. So, you can do that as well. I like to trade on a 5-minute chart now. And so that's what we got. Now I got to do one more thing, which is extend this throughout the end of the day. So I'll change the time to 1500, which is 3 o'clock. The market closes at 3 o'clock our time, or Central Time, I should say. And it opens at 8:30. All right, there we go. And it can extend out for the rest of the time. So that's that third candle is up now. We can see that now it's trying to retrace some of that room. There was a long wick down, and then it tried to get some more of that room. So it's kind of trading sideways in a sense. Since the market did trade as high as 6,600, as I showed you on the other charts, it got as high as 6,600. Let me go back to the 1 hour chart. Since it traded as high as 6,600 up here, I mean, it could trade up there, but even if it trades up there, I don't know. I do expect it to pull back. And the Fed meets next week, Tuesday and Wednesday. So now, they've made their money. People in the market have made their money, got as high as 6,600, but they're unsure what the Fed is going to do. So I'm just thinking that they're going to probably pull back and say, okay, let's take some of this money off the table that we made, and let's see what the Fed does next week. They don't want to hold this. That's called holding risk. I don't think they really want to hold that much risk going into the weekend. But I could be wrong. We'll see. We let the market tell us what it's going to do, not we tell the market what we want it to do, because the market does what it wants to do. Sorry, I eat my breakfast. All right, got about 2 more minutes for this candle. Seemed like it's a strong push up, but it's really sideways trading. Oh, that's turning down. If you got any questions, hit me up in the chat just to let me know if you have any questions. Seems a little slow now. Market is trading slowly. All right, so that candle is up, and now we're on the next candle, and it looks like it wants to trade down. So, but it's still within our caution area, so we don't go in right now. Once it breaks that area, and then I'm looking for a 5-minute confirmation candle to make sure that that trend continues down. Then I will go short. Interesting. Much of trading is being patient, sitting back and waiting for the setup that you want. And that's the thing that I had to learn in trading as well, is that you sit back and you wait for what you want. And if you don't meet the criteria of what you want, Don't take the trade, because at the end of the day, this is about real money that you're putting down on the table, on the line. You're trying to make money. You're in the trading game for the purpose of making money. So when you set your parameters and say, I know this is what I'm doing, this is what I want, this is a setup that I like, this is my strategy, and you sit and wait for it. And if you don't get it, hey, it's better to not take a trade and lose no money than to take a trade outside of your parameters and then lose money. So, like I said, I've learned that the hard way.
Not when you can get 50% off energy charges during peak summer and winter. What about an elaborate array of in-home misters? Sit back and enjoy even more months of automatic savings. So I don't need to use an ice pack as my pillow. Not when you're saving more than $450 a year. Ultimate Season Pass really is the best. It is a top-rated plan from TXU Energy. TXU Energy. Energy for everything.
Visit TXU.com for more information. Rep number 10004.
Football's back, and so is your easiest way to play. FanDuel Picks. Pick players, predict more or less on stats like yards and touchdowns, and that's it. Play for real cash. And right now, new customers can play $5 and get $60 in bonus. FanDuel Picks is live in 15 plus states, including Texas, Georgia, and Missouri. So what are you waiting for? Download the app and start picking today. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Age and location restrictions apply. Void where prohibited. $5 first deposit required. Bonus paid and non-withdrawable bonus site credit that expires 30 days after receipt. See full terms at FanDuel.com/terms.
It doesn't matter if you're running drills at the park, playing pickup on a Saturday, or sinking the final putt. When you compete with your friends with Michelob Ultra on the line, competition isn't that friendly. The trash talk,
sideways trading.
Those are crystal clear. With only 95 calories and superior smooth taste, it's the ultimate trophy. Superior is worth playing for. Michelob Ultra, superior light beer. Enjoy responsibly. Copyright 2025, Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Slow day. Yeah, it's just going sideways. not really making any definitive direction. There are some trades that you could take here, maybe some short scalps for like 1 or 2 points. When it goes up, you take a quick trade. When it goes down, you take a quick trade. But I'm not that type of trader, so I'm not going to take those trades. It just seems like when it's slow like this, it's just like the market is waiting. And what they're waiting for is what I've mentioned multiple times on the stream, is the Fed decision next week, what they're going to do with the rates. The consensus is that they're going to cut the rates just because of what the numbers look like now. They're going to go ahead and cut the rates. Then they probably try to decide how much they're going to cut it. They're going to cut it 50 basis points. They're going to cut it 25 basis points. But this is why everything is slow now. People are just kind of waiting to see what the Fed is going to do. Okay. That looks like a push up. At 9 o'clock, the market does usually make a change at 9. So it allows that 30 minutes of price action, and then it does a change. And so we'll see what happens if it takes a position up or down at 9 o'clock. I tell you what, though, if it makes its way up and it breaks through the top part of the caution area to like 65.90s, I'll go long, but I'm gonna be looking to take profits probably like around about 6,600. Okay, it touched the top of the area. Look like it may be trying to push up. Okay, got up to 65.92. That's what I like to see. See, can I go long at 65.92?
Order filled.
All right. All right, so I went long in one contract. Actually, let me go do another one.
Order submitted. Order canceled. Order filled.
All right, so I got two 2 contracts. These are micros, so $50 worth of margin. So for 2 contracts, that's $100 worth of margin. And I am going to move my take profit to 6,600 because that's what I believe it can go up to. So I'm taking the trade now. In the trade, it broke through the top side of our caution area, and so now I'm just riding it up. One of the things you can see on NinjaTrader, so I have it to where when I enter the trade, it actually puts the stop order and the take profit order in together. So that's what you call an OCO order. One cancels the other, and that just makes sure that I'm doing my risk management properly. I don't like what it's doing now. It's pulling back a little bit, which is kind of to be expected, but let me see if it continues to go up. It could pull back hard and knock me out, but that's what your stops are for, so it is what it is. NinjaTrader kind of tells you right here where you're at on the trade, dollars wise. I have it set where it can tell you dollars wise. You can do where it tell you tick wise. I have mine set where it tell you dollars wise how much you're making or losing on the trade. So we entered the trade, and as you can see, for my strategy for the 15-minute opening range break, this was the caution area that we had. It broke through that, and so I went in with 2 contracts on the trade. And since the all-time highs are at 6,600, that's where I put my take profit at, because I don't know if it's going to go too far beyond that. We're kind of in that price discovery area, so I have it where at 6,600, which is the all-time high. That's when I take my profit, and I'll be good with that. Ooh, that was a hard push down. I don't like that. Okay. All right, we're just going to wait and see what it's going to do. If it's going to come back up or it's going to continue down. I am in with 2 contracts. So that hard push down for me is like confirmation that the market is not ready to run, well beyond 6,600, because that's our goals, computer trading. And so as soon as it got up to like 65, 95, they immediately flush back down. So that lets me know that, hey, it's not ready to run, because if it was ready to really run, it would be, would be shooting up now. So all the more reason why, like about 6,600, I don't want to be in this trade any longer. Just hope it doesn't stop me out before it gets to that point I actually can make some money on the trade.
Horsepower, 0 to 60 times. These are among the benchmarks when considering a new vehicle.
Okay.
This believes there are
All right. So it looked like he's going to trade up now.
matter more. Awe, exhilaration, joy.
He just had to push down a little bit.
Crafted with you.
Just push down a little bit there.
Note resonates with your soul because a car that doesn't make you feel something
But didn't hit our stop.
short,
So
amazing. That's the standard of amazing. Lexus, experience amazing.
The best way to beat the Texas heat this summer is with TXU Energy Ultimate Season Pass. Not with an oversized umbrella hat? Not when you can get 50% off energy.
right now I'm sitting at about a 2-to-1 risk to reward.
Sit back and
So I'm risking like 4 points
you don't need to use an ice pack
to make
Now,
about 8 points. So that's 2-to-1. So
Ultimate Season Pass
if I would win this trade, if I would lose this trade, if I win this trade, I would win 2 times as much as I could lose. And so that's good risk to reward management. You always want to shoot to win more than you lose. And that's how you control your losses. So risk to reward is one of those things that really keep you in trading. So, for instance, if I had a 3-to-1 risk to reward, that means I'm risking, if we use some nice round numbers, if I'm risking $40 to make 3 times as that, which would be $120, well, I can lose 3 trades and then win 1 and still be break even. And so that's how you stay in trading. Because if I win, I'm going to make $120, right? The 3-to-1 risk to reward. So if I win, I'm going to make $120. If I lose, I'm going to lose $40. And so you can see how, if I can lose 3 and win 1 and be break even, that's how I was telling you that you can have a 50% win rate or a 60% win rate, and you still can be successful in trading as long as you're doing your risk to reward properly. So that's how professional traders and stuff do. They're looking for, an optimal risk to reward. And they're taking good setups and things like that, but they want to win more than what they risking to lose. Yeah, kind of looking at it now, it looked like it wants to come up, but it's kind of hesitating. Like it might actually be turning down. Let me see what we got here. It's been hesitating around this 65-90 area, 91, 92. It's got a little push up there. Okay. more of what I want to see with it going up. Let's see what we get. Okay, so it's starting to go up. You can see we're about $15 up right now. $15-$20 up, and looking for it to hit that 6,600. Okay, it's starting to trade up now, right? That's what I like to see. Let me go back to the regular screen. You can see kind of like what it's been doing. It traded sideways for a while, pushed up hard, pulled back a little bit, but now it's pushing back up again. And if I make the chart bigger, go to like the 15-minute, you can see that 6,600 is like right there. So it's not too far away from 6,600. And that was the high from yesterday. It hit 6,600. I mean, it could push a little bit above it today. I don't foresee it pushing too far above it, but it definitely could push above it. But I'm just going to hold the trade that I'm in right now, and I'm going to take profits at 6,600. Like I said, this is part of this is really just being patient, just waiting. It's a patience to not get out of the trade before you should get out. And it's also a patience though of letting the trade work out, right? If you're impatient, you'd be like, okay, I can't wait. Hurry up and get to 6,600. Well, sometimes, you know, your emotions are working a lot in trading. And that's like one of the biggest parts of trading, your emotions. And so sometimes you're so anxious that you take yourself out of the trade and you could have made 2-3 times more money because, you know, you did your good analysis, you set up good parameters and stuff. But you were so anxious, you know, you just jumped in, especially if you saw like a little profit or something. You might be like, okay, that's good, I'm gonna take that profit. And then you jump out when, you know, really you knew that it probably had the potential to do more. But you took it out anyway. So that's happened to me many times before. I've made the right analysis of the market going to a particular point, but then I was so happy that I made a little profit. I would take that little profit, and then, but only if I would have held it for 5 or 10 minutes longer, you know, I would have made 2 times the amount of profit that I would have made, you know. So, you know, it's a juggling act, and sometimes though you have to be careful because you can, you know, be greedy. There's no other way to say it. You can get greedy, and you just want to just hold it forever, and then the market turns around and says, no, you should have took your profits. So it's like I say, it's a balancing act. It is definitely slow though. We don't have a reason. I don't have a reason to sell, even though I don't like these little pullbacks like this. There's necessarily not a reason to sell right now. Man. I definitely don't like this. Starting to pull back hard now. I have my stop just below VWAP, so we'll see what it does. Yeah, I don't like this though. We'll see if it bounces up at VWAP or what it does. Oh wow, yeah, I think this thing is gonna stop me out. There's a hard pullback. I don't like this.
Stop fill.
All right, so that stopped me out. You can see it did a massive turnaround. So I risked the amount that I was going to risk. Lost about $50 on that trade. About $50 on that trade. So it is what it is. You know, that's what I decided to risk. I risked that to make double that, and it stopped me out. And so now, actually, you know what? I think I'm going to go back in because it looked like it wants to go back up. No. Let me just hold on there. Yeah, I'm gonna go back in.
Order submitted. Order canceled. Order filled.
All right, so we're going back in. And now we're gonna see what we get. See if it comes back up. We'll pull this back to 6,600 still. Let's see if it turns around. This will probably be my last trade today. And see if it's gonna recover that space that it lost. So you can see we got all the way up to like 65.96, and then recover it. Lost it. So now you can see it's getting back up. About to be at break even here in a little bit because it's gonna go back up to where it was at. What I'm going to do though is I'm going to move up my stop to break even once it gets beyond like $40, which was like my stop loss. I'm going to move that up. Let's put him back. Come on, let's go up, baby. I'm hesitating around the 65.90 area. I usually don't like taking a trade within the caution area with where it's in right now. I took the trade though to try to get the reversal.
And so is your easiest way to play. FanDuel picks. Pick players. Predict more or less on stats like yards and touchdowns. And that's it. Play for real cash. And right now, new customers.
Because I wanted a simple low rate, no matter how much energy I use.
Because I prefer a straightforward plan that doesn't require extra work to understand.
Because I got a great rate for 3 whole years.
Because I saved over $600.
Okay.
How's that for an answer?
Learn more at trieagle.com. That's
Eagle
energy. Visit trieagle.com for more information. Rep number 1006.
And it's coming back up.
My name is Maria. Okay, I lied, it's Mary. But I'm feeling more European after my European-style holiday on MSC Cruises. The ristoranti, I mean restaurants, nightlife and shops in La Galleria, and American touches, like a crazy robo-arm ride that flips you upside down. Bellissimo. Okay, this is a problem.
Cruise from Galveston and save up to 30% off, plus kids sail free. MSC Cruises. Let's holiday. To book, visit msccruises.com or contact your travel advisor. Restrictions apply. Ships registered in Panama and Malta.
Just being patient and allowing it to try to recover. You can see it's gaining its footing now again. I do believe it's possibly going to touch 6,600 again. It had that hard pullback, but a lot of times that hard pullback followed by that is another push up. So we can see it's going to where almost break even of where it was before. And I think it may push beyond up to about 6,600 and then just pull back again. Okay, there we go. That's a good push up. So you can see I'm up about $71 now. So I'm up beyond what I just lost, which was $40. And so I'm gonna move my stop up here to actually I want to move it up to 695 once it goes definitively past that. It's pulling back now a little bit. Actually, I could pull it back to about 692. That way I know I break even. All right, we're going to do that. So the stop is at break even now. So that way I won't lose money on this trade. Hoping that it gets to 6,600. That way I can be definitely break even and close to my price target. Yeah, it's pulling back some though. Hesitating. 695 is kind of where it seems like it doesn't want to go beyond. But we'll be patient and see what we get. Okay, there we go. There's a push up. And a pull back. I don't like this type of price action. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to make sure I make some money on this trade. So once it goes up above 692, I think I'm going to move my stop up to 692, 65.92. it's hesitating on the push up. The slow, very slow price action. Decisions. Okay, look like we're gonna start coming up. Oh no, that's pulling back. What are we doing? Okay. Not saying decision in what it wants to do. Trying to lock in some of these profits. I should have did a little bit higher. When it hesitates like that, I don't like it when it hesitates. And it's been hesitating up there, 65, 93, 92, wanting to go higher and hoping that it goes higher. But the way that it's hesitating, that's usually not a good sign. So like I was telling you before, this is a game of patience, but also certain decisions too. See, now it's pushing up high. I want to lock in some profits, but I don't want to push. I don't want to. My problem is I want to lock in profits, but I don't want to stop the possible push that could go up. Because it looked like it wants to go up and push beyond 65, 93, and 94, even up to 6,600. But it's just hesitating right there. Okay, it's getting beyond. I have it where my stop is at 65.93. Hopefully that pushes beyond that. All right, there we go. Does it go beyond? Yes or no? Patience.
It doesn't matter if you're running drills at the park, playing pickup on a Saturday, or sinking the final putt. When you compete with your friends with Michelob Ultra on the line, competition isn't that friendly. The trash talk, next level, and the stakes, oh, those are crystal clear. With only 95 calories and superior smooth taste, it's the ultimate trophy. Superior is worth playing for. Michelob Ultra, superior light beer. Enjoy responsibly. Copyright 2025. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer. St. Louis.
All right. My stop is at 65.92.
New vitamin water, zero sugar, pineapple passion fruit is packed with vitamins.
That'll put me at making like $40 or so. If it pulls below that. And I have it right at the 9 exponential EMA. I just don't know what this is going to do.
Of course. Grab a vitamin water. Did we mention it's packed with vitamins?
Glad to finally have you over. What do you think? You could install a bay window to let in more natural light over there. Huh?
Sorry. Sorry. It's just that I saved hundreds on my Navy Federal Credit Union home equity loan. Now I see potential home improvement projects everywhere.
Learn more about how our home equity loans with no closing costs can help you get more from your home base at NavyFederal.org. Navy Federal Credit Union. Our members.
Yeah, it look like it wants to turn around. Is it going to go up? Is it going to go down? This thing is...
Stop fill.
All right, so there we go. Put the stop in so I can make that $40 back and basically be about break even. And it's decided to push down. And you got 3 candles here. There's red candles, and it keeps hesitating. Like, so it doesn't really want to push up high right now. And that's fine. That's fine. Like I said, I didn't expect the market really want to push up. I thought the highest it would get if it did push up is 6,600. So it may take a reverse area down. So I'm going to leave it at this. I'll be done for right now. Those 2 trades is good enough. So, you know, I'm approximating trying to play how I would normally play if, you know, I'm actually doing this small account channel. So you can see the numbers up here. I set it to where basically I have $500 in account. So today would be $20 down with the actual fees and stuff like that going in there. And so $13 down on the profit, but, you know, $28 down with fees and everything else. And I would, you know, I probably would just leave this at a break even, maybe take one more trade, maybe, and be happy with that. But it's not really giving you a lot right now. The market is not giving you that much. So I wouldn't push it too much beyond this. And so this is probably where I would end it at for the day, which I'm going to end it now for the stream. So join me again on Monday. I'll put our words to let you know when everything is set, where we're actually doing the challenge, where it's not simulation. But if you're interested in trading, go to www.ninjatrader.com. You can go through and create your account. You pay for the market data, which is just $4, and then you can actually simulate real-time trading. You're just not using money. And I do recommend that if you're interested in trading, so you can learn how to trade. So until we meet again, thank you so much for jumping on the stream, and I'll see you next week.